This episode of the BenBen Show is brought to you by
Elegant Living paper plates. White trash. Not anymore. My friend is supposed to be on the show the last 2 times. Has gone MIA, not even answering phone calls. One of her friends doesn't know where she is. I really don't know what to do about that. I thought about calling the police and having a welfare check done. But the first thing I did, because she doesn't answer her text messages a lot from a variety of people, evidently, not just me, I sent the following to her. Oprah just called me and wants you to play Barney the Dinosaur in the new remake of The Color Purple. Spike Lee just contacted me. He's thinking of you for the role of the racist white prosecutor in Mississippi Burning. Possible. She's black, but hey. I'm friends with Adele, and she says, "Hello, it's me." In the event of a water landing, do black titties float as well as white titties? Follow-up question, have you ever fallen asleep in the bath? If so, did you die? I don't know. I'm trying to get her to say something. I don't really understand. I could just go to her place. It's an hour away. Welfare check by the police makes more sense. Cat tree is right here. I can't tell if you guys are picking up on the cat plane. Put down new catnip today. And what else? Catnip. Cod and something else. Cod and chicken we went with versus turkey and duck. Nulo. Cats love Nulo. Isn't a very interesting brand of cat food in terms of the packaging. Cats love it though. When I went from From and Open Farm, all the other high-end brands, 4-star From, the best of the best. And I went to Nulo and I was like, I want to give them variety. I don't want to give them the same brand of those varietals every time and just cycle. I want to give, try this brand. And so we have 4 varieties of this brand, 4 varieties of that. And we just have, end up having 12 or 15 different flavors. Mr. Hitchens, my older cat, does not care for beef. Much like my other cats from the past. Not big beef eaters. I haven't tried it with this guy, only because I'm not sure that makes sense to switch up their food. I wouldn't want my cat to all of a sudden love beef because the baby cat has beef and he doesn't have it, and there's a fight. It's like having children. The reason I have cats is, I love cats. My fiance loves cats, and cats will always be part of my life. I don't know, and they're self-sufficient. People picking up dog poop, there's none of that. I do have to do the kitty litter thing, but I'm better at the kitty litter thing than Kelsey, my fiance, so I don't know. But yeah, she's once I got into doing it, the best. I care, I want them to be happy, so yeah, I saw this thing on Twitter from Kevin Hart. Swore to God I thought it was Kevin Hart tweeting about how his favorite book is one that he wrote doing a Kanye West. Oh man, I just finished this book in one day. I've never done that before. Man, it's amazing. Check it out. Kevin Hart, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, is this tweeted by Kevin? I realized it was from a fan. I was like, oh God, that was so funny. It would be great if he did that though. He should have done that. Should have thought of that. The book release, that's what you do. It's check out my new thing, the fake bullshit, tweet. No, do hey, I just read this book. It's so good. I finished it in one day. I've never done that before. Check it out. Kevin Hart, a story by Kevin Hart. Forward by Kevin Hart. Tweet by Kevin Hart. Yeah, man, I don't know. You ever notice the comedy right now, people are being pulled back? Comedy is not. The comedy side of stuff is podcasts and some of the content is kind of on hold momentarily. I saw it spike during the COVID crisis in the spring because people were like, well, we have to have to entertain people. We have to like make light of this in some way to like get through it. Humor's the best medicine. But like recently, as the election is creeping up, and it is creeping up, it's just like right there. I mean, like August, okay, September, wonderful. October's like big push time, but it's done in October. You already have like early voting and all that jazz. Like, I mean, we're really talking about this 2 months here. That's it. That's where the big like last emphasis. Social media, podcast. But I've noticed a lot of people aren't talking. They're not going the comedy way. Like it's different. It's like I don't know. It's they're talking about like I don't know. Like Joe Rogan had Ben Shapiro on the other day. Interesting to have him on right now. They had a difference of opinion about how to solve problems in socioeconomically disparaged areas. And I think this is interesting. There's this giant conflation all the time with like the color of your skin and poverty, like they're directly correlated. Someone the other day, I don't know who it was, Nancy Pelosi or might have been Elizabeth Warren, said, we need to do more. It was about the eviction moratorium that's ending on the 25th, and talking about how it's going to affect a lot of people in the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder, and in turn will cause further racial disparity. And I thought that was interesting because it's like, wait a minute, you're totally right in the first part, but I don't think you should conflate racial disparity with socioeconomics and conflate the two. It's not really fair because the implication is there's a corollary between the two in terms of cause and effect, that you're poor because of the color of your skin, not because of anything else. These sort of like endogeneity errors and statistics, you narrow one variable down, like politicians are really good at this, to take a point and run with it. Like, this is the reason this is the way it is. And they don't want to divert. They want to focus on one specific thing. Liberal politicians use race and like the LGBT community and stuff like that. No one ever talks about that either. Like, I'm a huge proponent of the LGBTQ causes. I have tons of friends, 5 close friends. 2 are lesbian, 3 are gay, and we talk about this. Like, what if politicians that are pro LGBTQ legislation are doing it for the same reason they're pro any legislation, because it's good for their career. They don't care. They just know they have to do it. Like, you better be for Black Lives Matter in every way right now. They can do nothing wrong. If you're against them at all, you're racist. Like that type of thing. It's funny. You can have that talk with normal people, alpha camera, and like people totally agree with you. I've had gay friends say some crazy things that people are like, how could they say that? That's so, they'd be like, that's homophobic, like some other group would say that, or their constituency, or the public speaker of the gay community would be like, hey, shh, keep that on. Shh, don't say that. Because ultimately it's about power, and like you want things like, you want your causes to have the most fervor, and you don't want to undermine them by saying some things that are controversial. Anyway, I'm not going to go into what, I'm not going to divulge these things, because coming from me, it's just like, oh, that's horrible. You can't say that, I'm like, well, I can't. Irony being is too that like, if I'm not that thing, I can't talk about it. Like, I can't objectively say, rape's horrible. Oh, you don't know anything about it. Like, well, okay, well, I was raped though, as a guy. Is there a salad bar over there? I gotta go. I'm sorry. Bye. Like, it's just like the assumptions that people put on you. Like, you can't talk about anything because you're not a woman. You can't talk about X because you're not this. It's like you can't act in this role because you weren't that thing. It's like, is Batman, like, is Bruce Wayne really upset with Ben Affleck for being, portraying him in a movie? Like, do you see, like, how ridiculous these things are? Like, we need to do more, what was the thing that most recently that someone was talking about in movies? Someone should give up their role. Yeah, was it Jada Pinkett Smith? Or was it Halle Berry who was going to play a trans person? And she's like, she got into heat for it because she's not really trans. Bizarre. Like, thespians since the dawn of time have dressed up as women. Men have dressed up as women, and vice versa. These things have happened. It's part of theater. It's part of the root cause, derivatively and directly. You're playing a role, and then you may, in fact, not be that thing. When you're playing a woman who's playing this. You get what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing is like, it's part of the world of theater. And it's just kind of, I don't know, man, like, wow, everyone's attacking everything. And when I think about, like, this sounds weird to bring it full circle, but when I think about, like, the opioid epidemic, and I think about Aldous Huxley's book, Brave New World, about how the poor classes, the Deltas, I think they were, had to take soma every day. They were required. The poorer you were, you're required to take the opiate every day. Upper classes take it as needed as they like. Alcohol was permitted, more or less, but it wasn't necessarily considered as good. And I concede, I don't think anyone would say that alcohol is better than heroin in terms of, like, making you feel good. I don't think anyone's ever had a cocktail at a bar and then had a morphine drip at the hospital and been like, you know what? My bourbon don't need nobody. My bourbon don't need nobody. I don't need this morphine drip. I don't think you can try it. I mean, it's just like, yeah. So, yeah. So, it's interesting that we have this kind of culture that is, I don't know. It's Pergovian. You get taxed for anything that's not good for the status quo, good for the community, and that's a kind of a metaphor for, like, you could lose your job for saying the wrong thing. Oh, this episode is brought to you by Focus Aid. It's not that many calories, or it's no calories. It's like 40. I think you'll probably drop that down because the taste isn't awesome, but it's low caffeine. Some things have like 300 grams of caffeine. It's 100 grams of caffeine. It has this nootropic called alpha GPC, which in my normal supplement routine of, like, what do I have? I have, there's one, PRL something, 450, and then I have some Formacetin, something, oh my god, yeah, PRL 853, this one, and then I got, hold on. I got, yeah, this one, Theracetam, and I got phenylpiracetam, all the TAMs. And then I want to get into ergot. Ergot, is that what it's called? Yeah. ERGOT, like heparidine. I haven't thought about these in a while because some of them are hard to get. But anyway, I take those things when I'm not, on speed. And whatever, this works really well. It's a nice buzz. And then coffee with theanine in it, I think it does something. And I'm gonna bring this full circle to opiates and to, like, why people are, like, deferring to, like, the classes of just, like, the narrative that's, like, been adopted by this kind of, like, existential, greater good. theanine in coffee just relaxes you and calms you, and it gives this, like, you have this combination of alertness, but that edge, that anxiety fades. And I'd love to be sponsored. And it's Life Aid, it's the company. And I think there's something to that. People not wanting to wake up in the morning and feel like they're against the world. I think there's people that go out every day and are like provocateurs. They're few and far between. The everyday person is not that, and don't want to battle every day with, like, you know, I don't know, just the general narrative, which is, again, it's like it's pushed out there, and then you don't know what's fake and what's real. Like, what's the social media bot pushing an agenda, and what's like real people? Like, what's real, what's fake? What do people act? How offended are people? What's, you know, like right now on Fox News has, like, every single anchor on their station is accused of rape. Tucker Carlson had to leave one of his houses. He was my next door neighbor in Washington, D.C. For a little while. He bought the Quinn's house on Lowell Street, and then there was a gorgeous house, and then he had to leave that because he was, you know, rioters went outside. I don't know if that's the truth, but it is unusual to go from a gorgeous house and very nice neighborhood. Very fortunate to live there, and to go to, like, I don't know, just make it like a lateral move because of fear. Like, I'm afraid for my family. There's rioters that come outside our house, and then it happens again with the New York Times publishing his private address. That is a very unusual step. The fear of reprisal, like this reciprocal, like if you talk out of turn. Never before have I seen this where people are attacked. And I think, imagine all the stresses in life, but just voicing your opinion now, your true opinion, can get you into trouble. And the fact that the opioid epidemic was allowed to, like, go as long as it has, we're like a drugged up economy. We need to feel safe. And I think that there is a very bizarre corollary between Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, the opioid epidemic, and what's happening in society now. This kind of like doping up of the people, of the masses, both through information and, it's a cat. Both through information and, I don't know, just in general, just the allowances for, like, drugging yourself up every day, letting Netflix and Amazon wash over, is tantamount to, like, kind of getting drunk at the end of the day, you know? I don't think everything is good in disparity, but it's like, that's like the thing you do. So you 9 to 5, watch Netflix, do it again. Get drunk in the weekend. There's something about that that's interesting. And the fact that the opioid epidemic just recently has been attacked, and I mean, nothing really changed. It's kind of, I don't know, I mean, people are still, you know, opiates are still a thing, but the fact that drug companies haven't come out with anything better for pain, like sodium channel medications, it's unusual. And it's unusual that we're in a society now where if you become relevant at all and you're against this kind of like progressive cause, progressive seems to be the narrative. Everything else is kind of like radical. You can be attacked and destroyed. And it's like, wouldn't it just be better just to take your soma and just not be bothered and just live in ignorance, live in bliss? In a lot of ways, yeah, it would be. And that's a problem. It would just be better to live doped up. Because the fight and the risk of voicing your own opinion against a narrative is rough. And then the other part of that is holding it in and hating yourself for not really trying, living in fear. It's tough. I don't know. I think that's part of the problem with I don't know, life in general is like people live like, let fear control their lives. But more than that, I don't like people. I don't like this new world where like you are attacked for just thinking differently. Even if your job is to just entertain, like Tucker Carlson, for example. Rachel Maddow, if she talked the opposite, would be attacked. You know, she's like the antithesis to Tucker. It's just like, what's the harm? And just, you know, if someone is speaking this horrendously bigoted, racist things, let's say Tucker, that's just what he does. How dumb do you have to be to go along with something like that? If you were to abide by such things, and that's truly what he was talking about every day at 8 o'clock at night, whatever his primetime segment's on, you start echoing that at the workplace, and you get fired. You start like, you know, adopting these things in your own conversation, you'll lose friends. So it's weird that he has to be suppressed. And he has to be suppressed because it's not because he does anything wrong, but because it's dangerous to the common cause, which is to get everyone doped up on the federal government is really important. They know better than you do. Conservatives, libertarians, they're crazy, they're racist. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. And like, social media, like, what was it? Who was the Unabomber? Ted Kaczynski? Yeah, like, the idea that technology was a bad thing. Henry David Thoreau felt the same. Others, like, they're right in many respects. The way social media is turned into a weapon, it's awful. And like, you can't ever be wrong. If you're like, there's a narrative, and if you're part of that narrative and you agree with it, that's one thing. Like Obama was against gay marriage, for example. Hillary Clinton was against universal health care, like these things. But they're part of the tribe, so people give them a pass. But if you're generally against the narrative, if you've messed up ever or said anything that's like inappropriate, they destroy you. And it takes something from like 20 years ago that was in context politically acceptable, if controversial. They put it in today's context, and they say, "Oh, no, like applying the Constitution." It's not a living document. Sometimes you just say things in a tweet, you know, you mess up. But like the idea that it would destroy your life, it's crazy. Or how you vote. Like the founder of Mozilla Fox voting for Prop 8 against gay marriage in California, they found that out, and for religious purposes, not because he's bigoted or anything. I don't think that's, I don't think you can conflate the two. Like, you know, you're Christian, you feel this way, and if that's what the Bible says, it's your interpretation. You don't hate gay people. You know, like, but like, you lost your job. It's a publicly held company. I think it is. Or if not, it's a public face, and you know, you've been ousted. Using like rape allegations, using like everything to say, oh, no, he's a rapist. I mean, it's also unfalsifiable. Well, you raped me 37 years ago. It's dangerous, man. I don't know. Using this type of, I saw this thing, people are just crazy. Like I saw this thing where a woman was, felt like her doctors talk shit about her. She believed they talked shit about her. I guess before her surgery, she overheard something maybe and decided to start recording her like doctor's visit conversations privately, you know, secretly, surreptitiously. And somehow she records her entire surgery without them knowing it. I don't know how you do that. It's a sterile room, so like usually you walk into the surgical room with like a gown on. I don't know how she did it, but she did. And they did talk tons of shit about her. Tons of shit about her. What I think is hilarious is not that you set this thing to sue someone. This sort of like Amanda Heard, like, I don't care about the money, but let me keep trashing Johnny Depp and have these like private kind of like hidden civil suits. You know, let's show, oh, he's so abusive to me. You know, like, what's the agenda? What's the end? Money. You sue for the money, but you're still willing to let someone operate on you that you don't trust. What's up? Oh. See a bug? Oh. for money. I don't like this doctor. I don't trust them. But I'm gonna let them cut open my body because I'll get money. What? What about the outcome of the surgery? Hey son, I said money, yo. G shit. You gangsta? Fuck the surgery. Fuck this surgery. G shit, homie. Yeah. Gangsta. Aunt Jemima. Yeah. It's amazing too, like how many people think that someone in politics, governor, mayor, whatever, declares something, someone says something, all of a sudden, this is what it is. Masks, you have to wear them, right? It's so essential. Okay, now you don't have to wear masks anymore. No, we're over it. Oh, no, the spike's coming, you have to wear masks now. Wear masks again. A guy with no medical degree, just saying, spikes are happening. Yeah, our testing is gone up. Yes, we have more testing. You have to wear a mask. Aunt Jemima, nope, it's racist. It's racist now. Look at her. I just want her to be my aunt. She looks great. She looks like a nice person. You're just so insensitive. You're just an insensitive white male. I don't understand what's insensitive about thinking she looks, I don't know, she makes me want to eat her syrup. I don't, she just seems like a happy person. I don't know. Is that what you want? You have Aunt Jemima, it's a cold morning and it's like, oh, I'm so tired. You come downstairs, sit at the table, and you're just like, and then she just brings it down. Thank you, Aunt Jemima. Oh, child. And she does one of these. I love you, child. I love you, Aunt Jemima. I don't know, it's nice. Hello, little one. Oh, man. I think Chris D'Elia has people that are on the outside, like Chris Conley, also charged with sexual allegations recently. I think those people are kind of lucky if the election's going on because they're just, it's a little, they do is they take white males and start attacking them, and then the conflation is these white males are evil and white men are the problem. By derivatively, the left is about minority interests, so you'll vote that way because how awful white men are. Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't think it's it's a recipe for success to tell people that the reason for their plight is the color of their skin or something. It just doesn't. It's not the recipe. All right, great. That's the reason. Let's just say that's the reason. Now what? What are you gonna do? Just complain and have the government protect you? No one's gonna give you shit that's worthwhile. The gold, the honey, is going out there and taking it. You dealt a bad hand. Objectively, you're black, right? You're Asian. Well, Asians fucking kick my ass. I mean, they're fucking killing it. Forget it, man. White privilege, Asian privilege. But let's just pretend, everything that Nancy Pelosi, every liberal politician says is true. Who's your protector? You want the federal government to win the battle for you and make things right? Or do you want to go out there and fucking kill it? Take what's yours. Make it right yourself. Be better than the other guy, in spite of your background or your skin color if you really want to go there. Say, oh, you know what? I've been pushed down and held back my entire life because of my skin. You know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna go out there and get it. I'm gonna beat that white ass to that job. I'm gonna get a raise. I'm gonna get this. I want a beach house. I want a Bentley. Whatever. The government's not gonna get you a Bentley, It's what do you want? Do you want people to give you handouts? That's the secret. is that the left know that that's the way for controlling people. And in business, the best thing you can do is keep the same customer, right? It's way more expensive to get a new customer, but keeping customer loyalty is key. Keeping black people poor and dependent on the government is important, so that next election, if they lose this one, or if not, they can say, look, we need to help our black community. Look, and this is kind of like fucked up and racist, because you're just like pushing someone down to use them as a puppet and saying, look, we're here to help you. Here's more government X, but it's not helping. When has it ever helped anyone getting free money? It does for a short period of time, but if it keeps happening, it doesn't help you. Do you know what helps you grow? Friction, adversity. That's what helps you grow. And if that's the color of your skin, if you really believe that, great. Go out there and get it, man. I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying that you'll succeed. Most people don't, regardless of their skin color. But like this world that we live in, where everything is about like this narrative and how the only savior for the world is government policies that protect you. The government is not objective. They're selfish. They want control, man. They want you doped up. They want you on the soma. They want you on the payroll so that you vote a certain way. For the first time ever, the liberal politics, defense services, like CIA and SA, they're all aligned. It's control and power. Make the federal government as big and strong as possible. Offer you free money, stimulus packages, X, Y, and Z. Look, we need more of this, we need more of that. Makes the federal government, winning the executive branch, is like a king of the hill to control the populace. And as jobs become automated and stuff like that, people have to go back to school or fail, or they have to be doped up on the dole, on the government welfare, which doesn't help anyone grow. Believe me, letting life smack you in the face and getting knocked down is the only way to become successful. Losing everything is the only way. Learning the hard way from your failures and rebuilding is the only way that you will be successful in the long run. Trust me. Trust me. I know. I know better than most people realize. So you can, whatever your politics are, whatever you feel about Black Lives Matter right now, the election, Joe Biden and Trump, in the end, the only person that's going to put Christmas presents under your tree, the ones that really matter, is you. So fuck your skin color, fuck racism, fuck, bigotry, fuck all of it. Go out and get it. Go out and get it. No one's gonna give it to you. You have to take it. All right, guys. Bye.